when Brad and when I asked Brad to work with me, one of the things that we do is we work with couples, and we work in kind of different ways. We each have different strengths. I do a lot of the love and respect work because I'm really passionate about. Before I learned what love and respect was, it's something I had already practiced with my husband, so I'm very passionate about that. Sometimes we talk about intimacy. Sometimes we talk about things that are just surprising that we have to go to in counseling, but we'll talk about anything. There's nothing that we won't tackle. Brad, he seems to not be shy about anything, so we both will jump in when necessary, whatever the topic is. But Brad's specialty is personality, and I'll let him tell you a little bit about why that is and kind of what it is that he does with that piece.
Well, I grew up in a loving family, but a family that was not very good at resolving differences and having constructive confrontations. I'll just call them arguments for what they were. And so I had a crying passion in my heart, even as a child, that just said, why can't we get along? And that's really kind of been a theme of my life, is why can't we just get along? And so when I had the opportunity to start working in the marriage arena, which was in my own marriage first, and I really started learning about principles of healthy ways to confront and healthy ways to resolve conflict. And as part of my learning process, personality is something that even when I was in business, I was very interested in. When I would interview people for jobs, I would not look so much at their knowledge, skills, and abilities, because the companies I worked for always did a lot of training in that area. But I would look for what their personality types were and how they would fit in with the people they would be working for, or our management styles and so forth. And so I bring a lot of that into working with couples, is looking at personality and gender differences and how those things can work together instead of being dead ends or roadblocks, which I experienced a lot when I was growing up. And so April and I have some unique ways in which we're gifted and wired, and then we have some common areas that we've also been trained in, which works very well together because she comes from somewhat of a therapeutic approach, and I come more just from a mediation or a communication approach in a lot of ways, and it seems to work very well.
We do a lot on communication. We try to teach people to communicate. We use the 4 system technique. We use lots of techniques actually, and we also do, like I said, like he mentioned, the gender work. I try to explain things from a female perspective. Oftentimes, we'll find ourselves explaining it from a male's perspective because, respect is a key thing for guys, and just kind of help women understand that and understand how to be more respectful, how respect is his language, and how love is letting the men understand that love is our language. If you speak to me in terms of love, and I know that you love me and you're taking care of me, then there's nothing that I wouldn't do, for you. So, but respect is that important to the man. So we trying to explain that and trying to model that. We also model it in our office. We often have guys come in and say, man, your sign doesn't do you justice. And say you work with women, adolescents, and families, but you really know how to work with guys. You're really respectful. I'm surprised to see that. I expected you to be another kind of way. So we find that to be refreshing when we hear it. But we're just passionate about what we do. We try to model what we do. I try to work with Brad in a respectful way, so that when we're working together, I try not to talk over him or step on his toes or be disrespectful in any kind of way. And it's, we both have our own personalities, but we've learned, God has equipped us to work well together. And it's really been a blessing just to have somebody with me. And then I waited 7 years to ask one person to be my co-counselor, and it was you. And so I'm grateful for that. I mean, I just think, I know that the God sent for it to be that long and for it to be going so well. So I just really, just thank God for that.